Hello and welcome. Amid growing concerns over spate of attacks on its assets and general insecurity, INEC brainstorms on how to conduct free, fair and credible elections in 2023. Bandits kill 15 persons, including a police officer in Niger State, as a lecturer at the Taraba State University is abducted by gunmen. Socio-economic activities come to a halt in the southeast and parts of Delta State. Residents obey sit-at-home directive by the prescribed indigenous people of Biafra. Group of women in Benue demand action by the federal government to end the killings in the state, ask the president to speak out on continued attacks. And fight breaks out at the Pan-African Parliament in South Africa during leadership elections. Plus, we'll have business, sports, news from Abuja, and later on international news from our London studio.
On business news tonight, federal government sets to screen infrastructure projects suitable for public-private partnership to help boost development in the country.
On sports news tonight, Japan's Naomi Osaka withdraws from the French Open after a $15,000 fine for boycotting post-match press conference.
And from Abuja, federal government presents award letters to successful bidders to develop 57 marginal oil fields, the first approval in about 20 years.
Insecurity across the country has assumed a worrying dimension, and each day brings with it different shades of the hydra-headed monster. As attacks on communities in Niger State left at least 15 people killed, a lecturer at the Taraba State University was abducted by bandits from his home. However, in the southeast and Delta State, socio-economic activities came to a halt today, as most residents sat at home in honor of those who died in the civil war. And concerned about the security situation, INEC began a retreat in Lagos to iron out strategies on how to conduct a crisis-free election in the future. And this is where we begin tonight. Insecurity and violent attacks on facilities of the Independent National Electoral Commission is a major concern for the Commission as it prepares for the 2023 general elections. And that's why officials of the Commission from across the country converged on Lagos today to brainstorm on the techniques and strategy towards the polls. Our political correspondent Seun Okimbaloe reports.
Locked up in this room are directors, administrative secretaries of INEC across the country and some INEC consultants. It is a retreat to design the 2022-2026 strategic plan and strategic program of action, documents that will help the umpire drive its vision for about 5 years. It is the opening day of the retreat, and the agenda is crystal clear for the team as INEC is faced with a daunting challenge at the moment amidst the task of conducting free, fair and credible elections.
Part of what will be discussed today in this meeting is what is happening right now to some of our local government offices, and it is a desire to ensure that we incorporate all these things into the strategic plan.
Nigeria is huge, and the country is perhaps the most populated country, black country in the world, and therefore having elections here has its own unique challenges. But we are working with INEC with our support to ensure that they plan well and implement well.
Considering the recent attacks on INEC facilities in some parts of the country, there are fears of the effect on the forthcoming Anambra governorship elections.
Similar incidents in the past, for instance that of Ondo State, where some card readers were
At least 15 persons have been killed, including a police officer, by bandits in Mariga local government area of Niger State. A gunman who also burnt down Beri police station with several people reported to have been injured during the stampede that accompanied the arson, while local vigilantes succeeded in killing 5 of the bandits. Channels Television gathered that another set of bandits stormed Garingaba's community today, but faced stiff opposition from the youths of the town. The Niger State Deputy Governor, Mr. Mohammed Keitso, speaks on the government's efforts to rescue the students.
The abducted children, pupils, were able to identify the contact, and the effort is being made by the security agencies to ensure their release by special grace of God. Secondly, we are not certain with the number of the pupils that were adopted. So the issue of ransom does not arise here. We are trying to negotiate to see how we can bring them back safely. On the issue of whether proactive, government at any given time is always proactive. Because of our proactiveness, that is why you can see us for almost how many hours in a meeting, strategizing, looking at our present security attack show to see what effort can we do to make sure we bring those pupils back safely. Already we are in contact with their parents. We are trying to consult them. In fact, we are making an effort to make sure we carry out a visitation to Tegna. But we are also looking at the implication of us traveling from here to Tegna.
The proprietor of Salihu Tanko Islamic School in Tegina, Rafi local government area of Niger State, where gunmen abducted students on Sunday, has confirmed that 136 students were kidnapped. Idris Umar said the figure was gathered from the parents of the affected students. According to him, the school has a total of 303 registered students, but those abducted are 136. He also disclosed that 11 children who were reported to have been released by the bandits were only left behind because they could not catch up with the pace of the abductors. And there was also a security breach in Taraba State where gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have abducted a lecturer with the Taraba State University in Jalingo. The lecturer, identified as Umar Buba, is the head of Department of Forestry and Wildlife Management in the Faculty of Agriculture. The Vice-Chancellor of the institution, Professor Vincent Ado Tenebe, shortly after visiting the scene, vowed to apply for licensed guns for his staff. The state police spokesperson, David Missol, explains that the police are on the trail of the kidnappers and will ensure that he is released. He also asked residents of the state to volunteer information regarding strange movements around them.
We are on the trail of the kidnappers, and the Commissioner of Police Taraba State has given directives to the officers and men of the command to ensure that the victim is rescued. We will do all what it takes within our ability to ensure that we're able to rescue him. We also call on the general public to assist the police with informations that will enable us to succeed. Give us information if you know something about him, whereabouts of him, but the fact remains that we will not relent in our effort until we get him rescued. We are in a country that have a rule of law. And of course, what the law says about the request of the Vice Chancellor would definitely, be applied. It means that whatsoever request is making, definitely the laws should be applied.
Again, another police station located in Umunduba community in Isu local government area of Imo State has been set ablaze by gunmen. The latest attack has increased the number of police stations in the state burnt to 4 in less than 1 week. The attackers were said to have thrown inflammable substances at the police facility and it caught fire. The burning of the police facility was the only violent development in the state today, owing to the sit-at-home order by the prescribed IPOB. And staying in the southeast, some residents of the 5 states of the region today observed the sit-at-home directive issued by the prescribed indigenous people of Biafra in honor of those who lost their lives in the civil war. From Abia, Anambra, Imo, and Ebonyi to Enugu states, major streets were deserted today, with shops, business centers, and others locked.
For a Monday morning, Abakaliki-Enugu Express Road in Ebonyi State would have been a beehive of commercial activities. But now, it's almost completely deserted. Same for Vanco Junction by Ogoja Road. It's an empty street except for 1 or 2 vehicles and passers-by. It's all in compliance with the sit-at-home order by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB.
Time of the day.
There is full compliance to the order in Anambra State. The usual hustle and bustle at Aroma Junction along the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway is absent. Banks, motor parks, schools and other business outlets are all shut.
I come to collect money for ATM to get what I want. To buy food stuff for my house. That is what make me come out.
The road leading to the government secretariat is also deserted, with no vehicles or even people in sight. The Anambra Police Command is not taking things for granted. Armed policemen are in their combat-ready position.
Generally, if you look, everywhere is so deserted. But first of all, I must commend the Anambra State Police for ensuring, at least some essential workers that are out to still carry out their duties, like hospitals. At least the workers freely, have access to their workplace.
In Enugu, Ogui Road, leading to the main market, is also deserted. The mood is nothing different in Imo State. Weatherill Road would have at this time been busy, but not today. The streets are empty in Abia State. Delta is in the south-south zone of the country, but the order seems to be having an impact here. Although there's free vehicular movement, some of the shops are under lock and key.
What is happening actually is happening across the Niger. But everybody will have to run for his dear life because life does not have duplicate. So what we are seeing today is as a result of fear. People don't want to come and put their life at risk. That is why you are seeing the market empty.
Even banks are not left out. Some customers hang around hoping to access the banking halls.
I'm here for transaction. I want to withdraw money. Since I came in over 45 minutes, I was not allowed to enter the bank.
While the order has paralyzed all shades of activities across the southeast of the country, work is expected to resume from tomorrow, Tuesday, June the 1st, 2021.
The Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodimma, has been reacting to the recent security situation in the state, especially on the attacks on government facilities by gunmen and what he calls the assassination of Mr. Ahmed Gulak in Imo State. In a broadcast, Governor Uzodimma said he is saddened and shocked by the murder, which according to him is a clear case of political assassination. He says the events of the last few weeks do not represent the true character of Imo people, and he gave the assurance that the government will go after the perpetrators.
Elijah Ahmed Gulak was in Imo State for a national assignment. He came to Owerri with the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendment. Being a humble man, he chose to travel incognito, according to his friend that was with him during the incident. Someone must have trailed him from his hotel to the airport. That is exactly why this gruesome murder appears to be a clear case of political assassination. Let me make it very clear that everything will be done by security agencies to find those who murdered Gulak and their sponsors. They will not, by the grace of God, escape the punishment they deserve. This is not our character as Igbos, not in our tradition, nor in our culture. Therefore, we must rise to condemn this callous act.
In part 2, after the break, Arawa Consultative Forum reacts to killing of northerners in the southeast. Plus, group of women in Benue demands action by the federal government to end the killings in the state, asks the president to speak out on continued attacks. That's in a moment. Do join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Amid growing concerns over spate of attacks on its assets and general insecurity, INEC brainstorms on how to conduct free, fair and credible elections in 2023. Bandits kill 15 persons, including a police officer in Niger State, as a lecturer at the Taraba State University is abducted by gunmen. Socioeconomic activities come to a halt in the southeast and parts of Delta states. Residents obey sit-at-home directive by the prescribed indigenous people of Biafra. A group of women in Benue demands action by the federal government to end killings in the state, asks the president to speak out on the continued attacks. And fight breaks out at the Pan-African Parliament in South Africa during leadership elections. The Arawa Consultative Forum has warned against the killing of northerners residing or visiting any part of the southeast region, particularly the southeast zone. This follows the gruesome killing of the former APC chieftain Ahmed Golak. The national chairman of the AACF and the former Minister of Agriculture, Chief Audu Ogbe, called on security agencies to do everything possible to apprehend those who assassinated Mr. Golak and bring them to justice. He says the lives of northerners and indeed of all Nigerians matter, and the ACF cannot keep mute when its people and indeed all Nigerians are murdered in cold blood by misguided people. The ACF also cautioned northerners traveling to the southeast to weigh the importance of such trips. In the meantime, a group of women under the aegis of concerned Benue mothers today accused the presidency of a hidden agenda in matters concerning the ban on open grazing and the ranching option proposed by both Northern and Southern Governors Forum. The Benue mothers are asking President Muhammadu Buhari to address Nigerians directly, especially on the killings in Benue State and other parts of the country.
Now, every morning you wake up, they keep 10 in Daudu, 50 in Gwe West, 10 in Guma, 2 here, 1 in Agasha, 2 on the road, 3 here, 3 in a vehicle. It is a daily occurrence now, daily. And what they are doing commonly now is that they are not even shooting, they are slaughtering like rams. That is what is happening now. 3 days back, they went to bury a young man that they slaughtered. Broad daylight, they came shooting to stop them from burying that young man. I want to say that this should be the concern of every one of us. If all Nigerians are saying ranching and presidency continues to say grazing reserve, then presidency has a hidden agenda. We want to hear our president's voice. Our president should talk to us. We did not vote for Garba Shehu. We did not vote for Shegun Adesina. We want to hear our president speak to us. Presidency promised some amount of money to resettle our IDPs. It's how many years today? No kobo has been sent down here. We wish to call on Nigerians who love justice, peace and equity to rise and condemn what is happening to the innocent people of Benue State.
Well, you have some youths there in Zamfara State protesting the incessant killings and attacks on their communities by bandits. The protesters, who carried dangerous weapons blocking Kaura Namoda Gusau Road, vowed not to leave the highway until the government takes drastic actions to stop the killings and the attacks. Commuters and motorists were stranded as the youths barricaded the road leading to the state capital. The police officials who arrived at the scene of the protest could not disperse the protesters, as they insisted that the government must address the insecurity in the state. And here in Lagos, members of civil society, labor unions and youth organizations today staged a protest against insecurity, unemployment, mass poverty and bad governance. Bearing placards with different inscriptions, the group took the peaceful protest, which had the theme National Day of Action Against Insecurity of Nigeria, to the Government House, Alausa, Ikeja. They were received by members of the Lagos State House of Assembly. The spokesman of the group, Mr. Femi Falana, told lawmakers that there is a need to provide for the poor so that peace can be guaranteed in the Constitution.
Southwest has 54 universities. 54 graduates are being shown out daily. Nobody is planning for their future. We're asking you, because Lagos is where everybody comes to. This is the home of every Nigerian. And we're asking you to intensify your efforts and increase the budget of the poor so that there will be peace. It is now clear in our country that without peace for the poor, there can be no peace for the rich. For those who want to fight banditry and terrorism, we must put all our children in school. In the case of Lagos, we want CCTV cameras all over the place. Is that not so?
Yes!
We want tracking devices acquired. Is that not so?
Yes!
We want drones acquired. Is that not so?
Yes!
And for the neighborhood watchers, it is risky to ask young men and women to go and confront criminals bearing AK-47 rifles and pump action. We therefore urge you to pass the law to allow our neighborhood watchers to carry arms and ammunition. If you are challenged, we shall join issues with them in court. Because if individuals, big people, can acquire licenses to bear arms to defend their family members, no law should prevent the Lagos State government from getting licenses for 5,000 to 10,000 young people to defend 20 million people.
The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahaya, says the Nigerian Army must sit up and develop new plans and strategies to tackle insecurity in the country. He says the Nigerian Army must be competitive in the 21st century and must remain professional as it seeks to develop competencies that will make it ever ready to undertake its duties. He was speaking during his maiden briefing with general officers commanding and other senior officers in Abuja.
This is the first meeting between the Chief of Army Staff and senior Army officers since his assumption of office.
May their gentle souls rest in peace. Please be seated.
The focal point is a review of the strategies the Army operates on and how to make the structure better.
Secure our territorial integrity and fortify our sovereignty.
He advocates strict adherence to military traditions that will make the armed forces stronger.
Stability and lasting development of this country calls for joint endeavors. It is with this great sense of responsibility and above commitment that I hereby pledge to provide exemplary and professional leadership for the Nigerian Army, serve as a rallying point for all officers and men, reposition the Nigerian Army, the largest service of our armed forces, as an effective, dependable fighting force, galvanize our troops for successes in all operations, as well as serve the Nigerian Army and our country loyally and faithfully.
He then lays down his mission. one which he hopes will address the security situation in the country.
My vision, which is a professional Nigerian army ready to accomplish assigned missions within a joint environment in defense of Nigeria. To achieve this goal, my command philosophy will rest on 4 pillars, namely professionalism, readiness, administration, and cooperation. We must return to the tenets of basic soldiering, adhere strictly to customs, traditions, and ethics of our army, uphold regimentation and implement transparent sanctions and reward system.
Many expect the 22nd Chief of Army Staff to match words with actions and work towards putting an end to the violence, kidnappings and banditry across the country.
When the news at 10 returns, members of the Abuja Youth Council continue their demand for the setting up of the NDDC board. Plus, federal government set to screen infrastructure projects suitable for public-private partnership to boost the nation's development. And that will be on Business News. The join us again. Welcome back to the news at 10. The River State Governor Nyesom Wike says the problem in the nation's education sector cannot be solved by the establishment of many universities. Governor Wike stated this at the flag-off ceremony of a satellite campus of the River State University in Emoha local government area of the state. Governor Wike, who was a former Minister of State for Education, says rather than establishing new institutions that cannot be well funded, state and federal governments should inject more funds into equipping and hiring qualified personnel in the existing schools.
Following approval of funds by the State Executive Council, the River State government is flagging off the construction of a satellite campus of the state-owned university in Emoha local government area. The River State University had always planned to have 5 campuses, a vision the Wike-led administration is actualizing 41 years later.
The Senate and Council of the university have approved that the Faculty of Social Sciences, one of the vibrant faculties in any university, will be located in this campus.
For Governor Nyesom Wike, who is celebrating his 6 years in office, the 3 billion naira project is another proof of the honest implementation of his electioneering promises.
Politics is, have I brought development to my place, to my people? Because whether I like it or not, I don't know how much any of you can make that you can say, yes, I've made money. No. If you count the number of you who supported us, even if you make 10 million naira, what will it help? Nothing. But you have satisfaction that, look, I supported this party, I supported this government. Today, I can boast of having a campus of a university.
Before laying the foundation of the new campus, a former vice-chancellor of the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Ndowa Lale, commends Governor Wike for expanding development through education.
I'm sure there are already land speculators who are buying off lands here now because they want to start private hostels, they want to start hotels, they want to start such facilities, and they are very useful. And therefore, Emoha, I believe, will witness a pace of development that has never been seen before because of this campus.
The Emoha campus of the River State University is one of the 3 satellite campuses to be flagged off by Governor Wike in the days ahead in Eche and Ahoda as he announces the establishment of the 4th campus in Ogoni.
Civil rights activist and presidential candidate of the African Action Congress during the 2019 presidential election, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, says he was shot by a policewoman while preparing for a protest at the Unity Fountain in the nation's capital, Abuja, today. But the FCT police authorities have denied the claim, saying they have no record indicating that Mr. Sowore was shot. Mr. Sowore was reportedly injured by a tear gas canister fired by the police officer and was rushed to hospital for treatment immediately. The police said contrary to the reports, the protesters who went on rampage were resisted by police operatives who prevented them from causing a breakdown of law and order. The statement from the police adds that calm was restored at the Unity Fountain professionally. Angry youths from the Niger Delta region have again stormed the office of the Niger Delta Development Commission in Rivers State to demand the setting up of a substantive board for the commission. The youth stormed the head office of the commission earlier today, ordered the workers on duty out of the premises, and warned them not to return until the federal government announces the board for the commission.
We suffered for this. Most of our people died for this, and that is why you are enjoying today. We want Nigeria that developed. Most of you are working here. Remember, some of you, the papers, the documents pass your table. They sell in 760 million naira. That is being executed for 10 million. We said no to that. That there is a sole administrator now. Is the SA project, is the executive director of projects, the executive director of finance, is the managing director of this commission, and the CEO. We said no to that. Aqua will leave this commission. If Aqua wants to return as CDFA, we don't care. Tell them we don't care. All we want is, we want a substantive board inaugurated now. Tell Akpabio, NDDC does not belong to Akwa Ibom. Neither is NDDC owned by Akpabio and his cronies. It does not belong to APC. It does not belong to PDP. NDDC belongs to Niger Delta. All we are asking is Niger Delta region should be developed. We cannot continue like this. After how many years NDDC? You come and completed a building abandoned. You say you have achieved the milestone. We said no to that. We want everybody here, the staffs, to evacuate this place peacefully.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Markwe Ogun Yusuf. Markwe?
Hello, Ijeoma. Well, leaders of several ethnic groups want the federal government to urgently start the process for a new constitution as against the ongoing constitution amendment process. The groups took the position at an inter-ethnic dialogue on the 2023 presidential election, asking the government to consider going into the 2023 general election with a new constitution. Those at the meeting include Afenifere, Ohaneze Indigbo, and the Northern Consensus Movement. To health now, the federal government has begun revoking visas and deactivating passports of foreigners, as well as citizens who violated the health safety regulations meant for travelers coming into Nigeria. Chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, Mr. Boss Mustafa, stated this at the committee's briefing in Abuja. According to him, apart from revoking the visas of foreigners who violate the regulations for a period that would not be less than 1 year, the government will also pursue prosecution if necessary. Meanwhile, members of the Presidential Steering Committee all received their second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Well, that's all from Abuja now. It's over to Anne Wanwoda, who's standing by for business news.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Mokwe. Welcome to Business News. The federal government is set to screen roads, airports and other public infrastructure for public-private partnership sustainability and compliance with the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan. According to the Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, Mr. Alex Oko, the Bureau has developed a tool which captures all current and proposed infrastructure projects across the country. He also adds that the exercise is to ensure that only projects that are financially and economically viable are included in the national pipeline of PPP projects. Mikano International, exclusive partner of Geely Autos in Nigeria, has added the Cool Race SUV to its list of high-tech automobiles in the Nigerian market. The company launched the new SUV and also displayed a powerful piece of engineering assembled right here in Nigeria at Geely's flagship showroom in Victoria Island, Lagos.
With comfort, safety and class, Geely Nigeria is opening a window of opportunity, making premium experience a standard option with the Cool Ray. At this well-attended launch in Lagos, the guests wait to see the SUV that is not only distinct in interior designs, but athletic in body line make its first impression. The company's executives whet the guest appetites with some information about the Cool Ray.
Geely Nigeria provides the best in-country warranty on all its models, being 150,000 kilometers or 5 years, with a VIP courtesy car available as a replacement to all our clients nationwide. Mikano International Limited has succeeded in the African market not only by providing quality goods to its customers, but rather by combining these quality products with the provision of first-class after-sales.
This car is the best car to have. It's the best car to stop the second-hand flow into the market.
Let me hear you make some noise!
It's time to unveil. The Cool Ray makes the grand entry to the admiration of the guests.
It's an exceptional crossover SUV with exceptional technology and exceptional power. The power comes from a 1.5 GDI engine, turbo engine. That means that if you enjoy driving, this is a car for you. It's a thrilling ride. It provides a thrilling ride for you. It has the most tactile features on the inside, luxurious, premium quality. Also, the engine was co-developed with Volvo. I don't know, you might not know, but Geely Global has owned Volvo Auto since 2010. That's a massive achievement.
Geely is car, we brought it. Mikano didn't believe in Nigeria market. We believe that we need to provide a car safe, looks and stylish, affordable for the Nigerian market. And that's why we brought Geely. We are proudly assembled in Nigeria also.
Backed by Mikano International's superior positioning in after-sales service and reputation for quality products, Geely Nigeria says it is committed to providing reliable, durable and high-quality vehicles with premium features for Nigerians.
And let's head to the equities market now, where the total number climbed back to the 20 trillion naira mark at the domestic stock market, ending today's trading session with an additional 94 billion naira gain. Laddie Williams has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams. It's the last trading day for the month, and yes, the equities market has maintained a rebound recorded on Friday, despite some last-minute profit-taking activities by some investors. Yeah, we have the bull, no doubt. This month has been a very volatile one for the NGX, and that's because sell pressure dominated almost the entire trading sessions, while I've recorded only 5 positive sessions, which includes the 0.47% gain posted today. The additional increase in the market's main index comes largely from the 2.78% advance in the share price of Boa Cement, which was in the red on Friday. Its gain also pushed the industrial goods counter up by more than 1%, while GT Bank rallied its sector index. So far, we've seen a back-and-forth movement in the volume of equities transactions as well. But as the month winds down today, traders say they expect the lower price of some high-value stocks will attract a new set of investors into the market. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams. It's back to you.
Thanks for watching Business News Tonight. I'm Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Joma.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial star 894 hash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Pandemonium broke out at the Pan-African Parliament in South Africa today during leadership elections. Here's Simon Pusey with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. China has announced that it will allow couples to have up to 3 children after census data showed a steep decline in birth rates. For nearly 40 years, China enforced a controversial one-child policy, one of the strictest family planning regulations worldwide, which was relaxed in 2016 to a 2-child policy due to widespread concerns about an aging workforce and economic stagnation. Despite government efforts to encourage couples to have children, China's annual births have continued to fall to a record low of 12 million in 2020. A Danish public broadcaster has reported that Denmark's Secret Service has helped the US spy on European politicians, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel from 2012 to 2014. The Danish Defense Intelligence Service collaborated with the US National Security Agency to gather information. The report says the intelligence was collected on other officials from Germany, France, Sweden and Norway. The findings are the result of an internal investigation conducted by the Danish Defense Intelligence Service in 2015. Edward Snowden, the former NSA contractor turned whistleblower, accused US President Joe Biden of being deeply involved in the case. Israel's Prime Minister has warned that a proposed unity government aimed at replacing him would be a danger to the country's security. Benjamin Netanyahu urged fellow right-wingers not to back a deal after ultra-nationalist Naftali Bennett said he would form a coalition with a centrist party. Mr. Netanyahu's opponents have until Wednesday to form a government. If they're successful, it would bring to an end the rule of the country's longest-serving Prime Minister. Mr. Netanyahu, who faces serious corruption charges and could go to jail, fell short of a decisive majority at a general election in March. The 2021 Copa America football tournament has been left without a host less than 2 weeks before it starts after Argentina was stripped of the competition. Argentina was originally set to co-host with Colombia, who were removed on May the 20th after a wave of protests demanding social and economic change. The South American Football Confederation said Argentina has been removed because of the present circumstances. It did not disclose the nature of those circumstances, but Argentina is experiencing a surge in COVID-19 cases. North Korea has criticized the recent termination of an agreement between the United States and South Korea that capped the development of South Korea's ballistic missiles. North Korea's state media slammed the termination of an agreement, calling it a sign of Washington's shameful double-dealing. The pact limited the development of South Korea's ballistic missile program to a range of 500 miles. South Korean President Moon Jae-in announced an end to the deal after his first summit with US President Joe Biden earlier this month.
Throughout the process of our DPRK review, and we both are deeply concerned about the situation.
Hundreds of people have been evacuated and many more face the risk of abandoning their homes in New Zealand as heavy rains caused widespread flooding. At least 300 homes in the Canterbury region were evacuated overnight as water levels rose in rivers across the region in what has been defined as a 1-in-100-year deluge. Several highways, schools and offices were closed, and New Zealand's defence forces deployed helicopters to rescue some people stranded. Authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo have reported at least 6 cholera cases among people who fled to Sake town after last week's eruption at Mount Nyiragongo. The town of Sake has been overwhelmed by the number of arrivals, as hundreds of thousands of people have fled the city amid fears of a fresh volcanic eruption. The lack of designated internally displaced camps has worsened the situation, with families having to crowd in classrooms at nearby mosques and churches. Mount Nyiragongo's eruption killed 32 people and destroyed hundreds of homes around the eastern city of Goma. And finally, Chinese astronauts for the Shenzhou 12 manned space mission are in last-minute intensive training before embarking on their journey in June. 3 astronauts will spend 3 months in China's space station to carry out maintenance, equipment replacement and scientific work. To ensure a perfectly safe operation in outer space, astronauts need to go through physically and mentally tough training before finally qualifying for the mission. The mission comes after the cargo spacecraft Tianzhou 2, carrying supplies, equipment and propellant, successfully docked with the space station core module Tianhe on Sunday. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.
Many thanks, Simon. Japan's Naomi Osaka stunned the French Open organizers after announcing her withdrawal from the tournament in the wake of her decision to boycott post-match media duties. On Sunday, Osaka was fined $15,000 by Grand Slam organizers for boycotting a press conference after her game and issued a statement warning of possible expulsion from Roland Garros and future majors if she fails to change her stance. However, the four-time Grand Slam champion decided to take matters into her own hands to end the standoff by pulling out of the tournament with a message on Twitter. Just a few moments ago, American tennis superstar Serena Williams advanced to the second round of the French Open. The 23-time Grand Slam winner saved 2 set points before going on to beat Irina Camelia Begu 7-6, 6-2 under the bright lights at Roland Garros. And that's a wrap in sports news.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. And the main news again. Amid growing concerns over the spate of attacks on its assets and general insecurity in the country, the Independent National Electoral Commission today brainstormed on how to conduct free, fair and credible elections in 2023. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Bijoma Onyato. Good night.